we are going to go over how to save all that produce or leftovers that you got. Maybe you don't have any more tortilla chips and you need to get rid of the salsa. I want to show you how to throw it all into a chili. That's what we're going to do today. And still working with a little bit newer, what's it, camera angle. Yeah, still trying to work this out. It's funny how I rounded that back. This is the position that the camera was in when I very first started the show. We have a classic picnic table counter setup. I'm still rocking being a scumbag with the 5 o'clock shadow there. I'm just doing that typical sound check right on the start, and you can see it right here too. We're going to be using the Instapot again. I was happy that we could make a little black bean soup last week. This week now, I'm going to put it to use again. We're gonna earn all our kitchen investments is what we're gonna do. Alright, sounds like everything's coming in well. So, it's the chili hour, and I really wanted to have some chill music going, but I'm too scared. I don't want to get arrested. I thought pirating music was bad. This is a whole new level of ooh. But it'll be okay. It'll be alright. So I already pulled a lot of stuff out of the refrigerator today. That we're going to be working with. Let's see, what type of angle do we want? Let's try something like that real quick. No loud noises for you. No loud noises. Okay. So, the very first thing I did is that I have some black beans that are soaking here. These were some dry beans. I let them soak probably when I woke up about 2 p.m. and they got about a 4-hour soak. So 6 hours, or if you want them to soak overnight. If you don't have any time to soak them, you could boil them in some water for maybe about 20 minutes. Would help give them a nice head start. If you were saying maybe you had an hour and a half worth of time, you could put your beans in hot water, and that would help soften them up a little bit quicker. But the longer you get to soak your beans, the better. You don't really need to go over 24 hours. After 24 hours, your beans can kind of start to mold on you. I don't know if possibly sprout is the word that we're looking for on that. So, some dry beans, and I'm going to rinse that out once or twice there. And then let's see what else that we got. Well, so from 2 weeks ago that we want is that we have some of those leftover roasted red peppers from when we made that Spanish tortilla. And from last week when we did the black bean, we still have some of these diced jalapenos, so that'll go great for the chili. Just cut this up here. And then in place of just a can of, say, tomatoes, what we got going on is that there's some leftover chunky salsa that there's no chips for, so we'll throw that in. And this is some leftover enchilada sauce. We'll go ahead and also use that as well. I do like to have more than one type of bean in my chili, so I also do have some canned pinto beans, and I'll use 1 can of that. While I'm basing, I'll show you, I'll pull up a recipe here of kind of like a more traditional chili. One is, the one on the left here is actually Alton Brown's recipe, and it doesn't use any beans. It is more of a meat chili. And I was really excited about looking at this recipe. I really like just the spices and herbs that he's using for the recipes, and I was really excited to be able to cook with a beer. I think that'd be a wonderful taste. I'm not a big beer drinker, but I was curious in being able to try something cooked in beer. But unfortunately, we won't be able to do that recipe tonight. We are going for, because what we're doing today is trying to use some of the older produce that we have. So I also have some peppers that I'm going to pull out of the fridge and have those ready. So I just had 2 peppers in the fridge that I really need to use sooner than later. You can see how they're starting to get a little wrinkled here. These are right about to hit the part where they're going to start to mold and rot. So we'll give those a little bit of a rinse. And then something else that we did have is that we're also going to use this leftover salad mix. And what we're going to do is that we're going to hide this in the chili, so it's not going to be a meat chili. We're going to go ahead and season this with a little bit of boca meat, some substitute that we're going to use. And you can see how that this is, some of it is just wilted a little bit too far. At this point, it's kind of just too far gone to really enjoy in a salad. It's starting to get a little bit too. We already pecked at it once in another show. I showed you how you can kind of pick through this real quick and really get another couple salads out of it. But really we're going to use the rest of this now in our chili. It's going to be kind of one of the substitutes for our meat, so we're going to kind of try to flavor it still like we would meat. And then it's going to be kind of the filler for what we have going on, since we're not using 2 whole pounds of meat substitute. This will help fill in the space there. Okay. And then let's see. Yes, and then also I just have all these onions that are over a week old at this point, and then some garlic. So this is why I was like, look at all this extra produce I have. I really don't know what to be able to cook. Some people might be in this situation. Look at all these random, like, it's kind of looks like a mishmash, but if you realize that this can all go into a chili, there you go. There you go. So, let's see. Zoom back out of here real quick. Oh, and I'm also still a very skinny man right now. Let's go ahead and take these recipes off on the side now. So those are just 2 different directions you go. We're going more on the direction on the right side here, where we are using peppers, tomatoes, beans. All right. So I'll go ahead and give these a quick rinse here. Go ahead and peel off the stickers. I got a nice clean sink, so I'm not worried about putting my produce down in it for a second. Just peeling off the stickers here. Alright, nice rinse there. Go ahead and have these leftover towels, just get it dried off a little bit. And now this is going to be a bit of chopping. That's going to be the hardest part. We're going also, what we are going to do is we're going to get a head start on our black beans. Now I did say that I let these black beans sit for 4 hours already, but I'm a little worried about in this Instapot. It's the first time I'm trying to cook in an Instapot, and man, I look recipes online all the time, but there wasn't something as aggravating to find as a good chili recipe. As you can see with the mismatch of different, just the mismatch of little ingredients that you can still put in a chili, you could can kind of take a gander that there's a lot of opinions on how to make chili, and there's even less instructions how to do it with a slow cooker or how to do it with dry beans. It was a pain. So this is more of just like this recipe is obviously just a mismatch. I'm just kind of trying to show you what you can get away with here. Let's see. Okay. But I do want to get a head start on the beans here, so I'm going to go ahead and cook them and get them started in the Instapot sooner than later. I'm going to go ahead and rinse these beans out real quick though. So just with my hand, letting the water drain out. And I'm fighting myself too much. I should just get a bigger bowl here. Too much that I like, so I have this second strainer here. Help me keep from too many beans going into the sink here. Beans are definitely, just as a little note, beans are not something that you want going down your garbage disposal, because your garbage disposal is going to have a hard time cleaning them up. Alright, so I got my drained beans there. I'm going to go ahead and remove anything else that there was out of the sink. Trying to reset this. Alright, so what I'm going to start with is I'm going to go ahead and, this is pretty watery based, so I'm going to start that. I'm going to go ahead and rinse it out. I need a little bit more water anyway to start cooking these beans. Whoops. Some water got up in the lid there. That's one of the reasons why I have these leftover towels here. If you have dirty shoes, don't be careful to not grind dirt into your towel when you're putting that on the ground there. But that's exactly, those are week-old hand towels I switched out, and then they're just there now for any extra messes that I may have. So I got the water put in here. I'm going to go ahead and transfer my beans. And I just want these cooking. We'll go ahead and add the tomatoes too here. Go ahead and rinse this off with water too. And it's just to give my beans that extra head start, just in case they do end up taking a little bit longer to cook through. And I'm not scared of jalapenos. This is about finishing stuff off, so I'm going to go ahead and just add in the rest of the jalapenos that I have there. Serve. So my beans are totally submerged here. I'll give you a little show about what it looks like. So the beans are submerged. I'm going to go ahead and add my pinto beans as well. Actually, I changed my mind. I'll wait, because the pinto beans are canned, so I'm not so worried about the cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and let this go for about the 15 minutes. So I'm going to be chopping vegetables. I'll just have it going already. We're going to pop the lid on here. I'm going to go to a bean chili. And we'll put a timer for 15 minutes. And I believe that's how you start this bad boy. Alright, in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and cut up the rest of our veggies here. Alright, let's go ahead and get out the cutting board here. Oh, I guess we can just lower the whole camera. I'm so sorry. That was a loud noise, I'm sure. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and grab that cutting board and we're just going to give everything lots of chops. Let's see. I think I will use the wooden cutting board today. And since we are starting with the beans, we are going to have one step. Now, if I were doing this with my beans already readied and prepared, I would saute my onions and my peppers first. We're going to saute our vegetables in a separate pan, and that'll be kind of fun if you're practicing cooking. Why not? It is one extra dish to have to cook, or have to clean, so there is that. So if you want to get away with doing all this in one, just instead of starting your beans first, I'm again only doing that because I'm a little bit worried because they were dried beans. So I'm trying to give them a head start while I mess around with all of you and chat here. So we'll go ahead, get a little bit of peanut oil, turn that to a 4, and we'll just be sauteing our vegetables over here. We'll start getting that hot, and we'll go ahead and start taking care of our vegetables here. And I've explained these a lot about how I cut, but I'll just kind of explain. So I cut the top off here, try to knock out all the pepper seeds there. And then if you're trying to use the top, see now this is a little bit older pepper, so I'm not too keen on using the top here. But if you still, aren't picky, just go ahead and kind of look for 4 cuts across the top there. That's how you can get that, and then that's just the core there. And then for this guy, go ahead, cut it in half. Now, depending on what type of knife you have, you're either going to want to cut it with the skin or across the skin. On a more traditional chef knife, this kind of is like rough. It's easier to cut on this because this is a serrated knife, but on this knife is a little bit duller. You can kind of see how the knife doesn't quite want to cut through it. Like if I'm just running the knife over, this serrated knife right here catches the skin. However, this knife on the other side, it's a dull knife, I do apologize, is able to cut through on the other side. Dull knives are very scary to have in the kitchen. I don't normally pull out these other knives. I just have my one dinky knife that I like to use. Still looking in the market for another good knife. The 2 knives I would like to have it's like a square knife, I'm not sure of the name of it, but it's about a 5-inch blade. I really like that for cutting onions and produce. And then I like, for the full chef knives, I do like a longer 10-inch blade. I believe this is a 7 or an 8-inch blade here. It's probably an 8-inch blade. and I do like going for the 10-inch, and the 10-inch will really help you with whatever, it really covers, like, I don't see you cutting anything larger than a brisket ever, and a 10-inch knife covers your ground on that. So you don't need to go this heavy on the slice. I'm actually going to go ahead and just want a little bit more of a rougher chop. Doesn't have to be pretty at all. We'll go ahead and I'll show you the little bit of rougher chop that you can get away with for this chili recipe. So same thing again. You can see how I got my fingers in around the core. Keeps from a lot of the seeds. And this looks pretty, and I'm more keen on using this because it still looks pretty good. It's not as gnarly as the other pepper that we were just working with here. And then don't be afraid about this coloration here. It's fine. The reason why you don't see it in restaurants is because restaurants don't want to have to argue with the customer that there's fine and there's nothing wrong with it. It's kind of like how you don't see weird produce in the produce market, like oversized or undersized produce. People would want a deal on it because it looks weird. Yeah, that's about as big chunks as you can get here. And we're going to go ahead and add our oil now. It helps if you have the right burner turned on. Classic. Okay. So we're using the last of all sorts of stuff. I think I only have about 2 tablespoons or so of peanut oil left. No, it hangs on for another day. Okay, how about that? Hey, Sharpful, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming out and showing on the stream. I'm making chili tonight. I'm showing people how to take over their leftover vegetables and stuff. And then I'm always really picky with when I'm cutting onions. I always like to have a second cutting board there when I'm cutting my onions. And then just same. I don't do really anything fancy with the onions. Take off the top here. Peel off the layer. And then for this I have one of every type of onion. I just thought it would be kind of fun. Quite the variety of flavor. Okay. So I still cut my onions the lazy way. I just do diagonal straight down. And then I come across. And then I'm done. Two more onions to go. And I am going to have this cranking at more than 5 on a medium heat. Usually a lot of times I take my time cooking my onions. This is not going to be one of those cases. I do just want to get the ingredients added to it, get it sauteed, and then get it into the chili cooking. And then we can go over some other fun stuff to make. I think I wanted to, what is it, a parfait? Is that how you call it? I'm not afraid to be wrong on camera. With the little yogurt and granola. Oh, I'm so happy you can't see my face right now because I'm crying so much. Oh, I'm just a ball of tears. Oh man, men, this is where you can let it out. No one can make fun of you. But a little trick that I have is when you're getting a little watery dye, just run your fingers under some water. I've heard it's not necessarily the onion vapor coming up to your nose, it's actually how quickly it is being absorbed in your fingers. Yeah, crazy stuff, right? So, it's a lot of pepper and stuff. We'll go ahead and put that over there. Oh, I still got another onion. Another onion to go. Okay. One more onion. You can see why I was really eager to use this onion because it's starting to go green. I go ahead and I just dig that part out. I'm really not scared to eat that stuff though. As we've seen on the show before, I will eat a little bit older of a potato. You just don't want it too green. You don't want the tomato to be too green. It is poisonous. It's not ideal. Potatoes are really cheap these days. Produce is really cheap these days. That's all the onion goodness that we got going. Go ahead and fish out this one pepper that we got. Come on. Yeah, that one less pepper that we got. And why not? We'll add that juice. We don't throw that juice away. We'll go ahead and add that pepper juice to the chili. Why not, right? Alright, and this is just, yeah, more roasted pepper. It's just leftover pepper. We didn't have all our stuff roasted. Some was, some wasn't. We'll cut this up a little finer than the other pepper. That way its flavor kind of permeates. Alright. And then the reason why I cut it out on the cutting board is I still kind of wanted it dry for this last part. Okay, the garlic. So, shell it out. Oh yeah, this garlic wanted to be used. So this garlic has kind of gone a little soft on me. We'll see what all is salvageable here. Yeah, see, that's too far gone garlic. Yeah, most of that's too far gone. Couple, there was like a good piece on it. I didn't realize that garlic was so far gone. So, but that's okay. There is this other half of garlic that we bought at the same time that does not have that problem. And now we're in a good spot because we've managed to use all our garlic. Okay, now I'm doing this all like so because I really want to show you how to really save time. Because all these recipes call for mincing your garlic, and I get it. However, we got modern applications. So I'm going to go ahead and just smash out my garlic with my knife. I don't mean this to be too advanced of a move. It's one that I'm kind of concerned with new people using because I don't want them to accidentally cut their hand if it somehow manages to go back. It's really hard for something like that to happen, but you know, with how they write instructions out these days, I just wouldn't be surprised. So when I smash it with the skin on, it makes it easier to peel back the skin layer here. When you get it good, it really should just kind of crumble off like so. That was pretty easy. And even some of this garlic was right about to sprout too. And yeah, this one has brown, so this one just had to pay attention to that. It looks like we didn't get one good piece from that other garlic. Yeah, you smash it out. Makes it easier to peel, and it also help release all that garlic juice. Instead of it just being in the garlic itself, it really helps it, once again, our favorite word of the day, permeate the dish. Get all those scraps thrown away. Okay, we got one more to peel. Okay, and this is, like I said, we're not going to mince. We're going to process. Exactly the same as mincing, and it takes a fraction of the time. Alright, so now we have all the stuff that we want. We're going to go ahead and add this garlic to our oil first. A little ceramic here. I'll go ahead and move this a bit out of the shot. Woo! Here. And we'll get this added. I want to be moving quick with the garlic because it's minced, so I have the chance of burning it right now because of how small it is. But this will really help. Garlic flavor come in, and it's browning super quick, which is good. I can take it off the heat for just a second while I'm scraping this in, and it's browning on me. Be very careful not to drop anything plastic on top of this. My ceramic's holding the heat very well there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that on, and then we're going to go ahead and start with that red pepper, very cold. That'll reduce the heat down real quick. That way we'll be sure not to be burning anything. Okay, and now I'm just going to pick this up and get it added. Going to go ahead and crank the temperature up even higher, closer to 6. Take advantage of working in the home kitchen. Give my hands a nice little quick rinse there. And we're at max capacity for this pan too, which is kind of cool. Now we're going to get everything coated in the oil here. And yeah, we're working at the top here, but as this begins to cook, it will reduce down on us. And that's more room to play. In this case, I'll know when it's mixed enough, when I really start seeing that red pepper that I threw in right at the start come more to the surface. And just tossing back in any bits that make it out. I did start with a clean kitchen. We'll go ahead. Do we need a little bit more light over here? Get that out of shot for you. Out of the shot for you. Been working on this a little bit right here for almost 2 minutes just to get it right. I'm finally seeing it about combined enough. Go ahead and put a lid on that, and we'll clean this bit up a little bit real quick. Guess what we'll do here is kind of pull it out. Now is I like this camera angle a little bit better because it kind of shows like how I manage and clean the kitchen as I go with it. So I guess the cutting board's all out of the shot now though. If I take it way back. The struggle is real. Alright. So that part of my processor is specifically hand wash only. I'll go ahead and hand wash my knife as well. And this wooden handled ceramic really has no reason to make it into the dishwasher either. At the same time, I'll go ahead and finish. Oh, I guess in this case, I'm not saving either of these jars, and actually I just remembered they don't recycle glass here, so nothing to worry about there. Again, I don't want my beans going down into my sink. Really hard on the garbage disposal there. See you later, Ash Artful. Thanks for hanging out on the stream. So a couple of quick chops there, and we're basically on our way home to a chicken. Really straightforward. Little hassle. Like I said, you could get away with cooking this all in the Instapot. Oh, you know what? I forgot to add the greens here. We'll do that real quick. Okay. And I just want to get a little bit of the sweet going real quick. Onions always make so much of a mess. That was quite a bit of produce, though, that we got. knocked out of the way there. So as you'll hear me, I think I have a record for almost every show. Clean as you go, sign of a pro. So our vegetables have been sauteing for about 4 minutes now. Hopefully they reduced a little bit more at this point. Now I know why I forgot to add this is because this had already gotten all full up. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and add my seasonings. I'm going to still use 2 tablespoons of chili powder, a tablespoon of oregano. We're going to use a little bit of lemon and pepper seasoning. We're going to use some we're going to use, where is it? Salt mix, but it seems to be hiding from me at the moment. Ah, it's right there in front of me. Of course it is. Alright, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to the vegetables. Alright, plenty of stuffs that we're going to use to make our little concoction here. Plenty of things. I just want them in the shot. Okay. Boom. Do, 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 do. Okay. Wonderful. Alright, so Steakhouse Seasoning. Gonna try to grab about half a tablespoon of that. We're gonna throw this directly on. The curry powder. We're looking for a full tablespoon of curry powder. About a teaspoon, a quarter teaspoon, excuse me. The lemon and pepper. Full tablespoon of oregano. I'm going to add about another quarter teaspoon of just some seasonal salt, 2 tablespoons of chili powder, a little bit, and another teaspoon I'm throwing right over the top on that. Alright, we'll go ahead and give that just the tiniest of stirs needed just to get it mixed here. Wonderful. We can go ahead and put all our seasonings away. And we're going to go ahead and decompress. Actually, we'll let that come to a more natural, decompressing it. I'll turn off the mic for just a moment while that goes. Hello, Amy and Bobby. I just had my mic turned off for a minute while I let these beans I had cooking decompress from the Instant Pot. We're making some chili tonight. Trying to show everyone how to throw their leftovers together. Letting the water drop back into the pot here. And we're going to see where our beans are at. Need one of these black beans here. Perfect. Good. They're soft. We're ready to move on to the next step. So, now this was just kind of like a happy mistake. I just got a lot of vegetables here, and I got some more that I need to cook. So you notice that I threw a little bit of seasoning in on this bad boy at the start. I'm just going to make myself a little room, because some of these vegetables are just going to get a little bit of an early start. About half of those vegetables. Now I'm working with half of this, and what I'm going to be able to do now, I'm going to be able to really get a good coat with the seasonings that we just dished out. starting to smell good in the kitchen. And then there is one more. There was one extra thing that I wanted to do. Ah, yes. Even the leftover juice that we had and those fire roasted peppers, we're going to go ahead and add that juice straight in. Then we're going to go ahead, we're going to get our pinto beans out. I'm going to go ahead, cap that for a minute, get this cleaned up a little bit better. Want to get it around the stove top a little bit. This gets hot so things can like cook into your stove here. That's not good. Just getting it cleaned up quickly. Just a little wet sponge. It'll save you so much work later on there. Go ahead and get this stuff going. Happy Friday to Amy and Bobby there. We made it. We went so far around the sun and we're all still here. Alright. We'll go ahead and get our pinto beans added now. Got a nice clean kitchen that we're working with. That might be the next kitchen toy I buy myself. In all honesty though, it's probably going to be a new can opener. I've been really trying to figure out how to get this one to behave better. She works a lot of the times though. Alright, and my Instant Pot is off. I want to go ahead and turn this back on to a bean chili here so we don't lose that heat. Give it a nice stir. And I'm going to make sure that I don't have any extra broth lying around right now. I don't think I do, but just checking. Nope, it does look like we have used all the broth, which is a good thing. So, what we need, let's see, first I got to observe if there's a maximum line in here. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. Aha! Yes, there is a maximum line. Okay. Do I want to make a full pot of chili? I think we are going to end up making a full pot of chili. Let me show you what's going on here. I just left it, and that browning there, that's actually all the spices that we're using there. I'm just getting everything nice and coated. It got a nice sear. You see how much that the vegetables have reduced, and now they're kind of serving a more of a filler. And I'm actually not even going to bother putting in the boca meats in. And the reason why is because this dish actually already has plenty of protein available through the beans. I'm not really worried about having to add more protein to this chili. And I actually have all these other nutrients because of the vegetables that I added here. That's a bunch of iron and calcium and antioxidants that help your cellular structure, all the good stuff. And this is coming to a chill here really quick. Now I'm going to go ahead and add that up into the Instapot now. The whole thing. Every last drop. Doesn't go in this chili, it's just going into the garbage. Scrapey, scrape, scrape. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure to turn that burner off. Give this another little stir to see where we're at. And come up above here, see what we're working with. Okay, so now you can see my chili is starting to bubble, and you can see I don't really have as much liquid that I need. Now this is at the half mark, and I believe this is a 16 quart. I'm not exactly sure of the size of this Instapot in the current moment, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill, I have a nice full pot, and I'm going to go ahead and fill it, finish filling it up. There's this 2/3 line here. I'm going to go ahead and add water to fill it up to that 2/3 line. So, to do that, that looks about like 2 cups of water almost. Maybe 3. So I added 3 cups of water, and we're just below the max line, which is where I would really prefer to stay. And you can see how much looser the chili has gotten. It's a lot more viscous, a lot more room. And now we're going to let everything cook in for another 20 minutes on the Instapot. So we're just going to go ahead. We got the bean, and it's already set for the bean chili. It's already on. When it gets to pressure, it'll start a timer for 15 minutes, I believe. I already hear it bubbling. Should work out real nice. And the collateral damage on the kitchen, as you can see, just mostly the leftover containers that we cleared out of the refrigerator. Doing pretty good in that regard. Having a fun time with the white balancing there. I didn't do the suit and tie tonight, but I did find like my old cooking shirt, so I was like, yeah, we'll pull it a little bit old school today. I was really happy about it. The one thing I didn't get to show off today is that in the Alton Brown recipe, I'll pull it back up over here for a minute, make myself on the skinny. Something that I did like here is that it called for not only beer but some dry sage. And I actually have some. This sage right here is actually all has been dried up, and so if I were to use about a tablespoon, I'd probably take 2 ears of this here clip and clip. I'm not sure if this sage here has died on me. It was the only plant. Well, actually, I guess I had 3 plants not make the winter. I had a button plant that didn't make the winter, but that was my fault. Totally forgot to water that one. It was drought resistant, and I still managed to kill it. That was embarrassing. The wandering I am starting to think more that this name is really slang, but I've only known this plant known as the wandering Jew. It's kind of a purple plant, and it just roots wherever you stick it in the dirt. That fella, I had to cut back again. Might be dead on me too. What was the third one? The sage, the button plant. The sage, the button plant, and the wandering Jew, yes. So I just wanted to show you guys just how quickly, we cut this last week on our excess of mint. I wanted to just show you all this new growth. It's exploding and a new growth here. You can see new nodes. It's having a hard time. There you go. You can kind of see all that new growth here. So now when I'm harvesting this, instead of snipping off any of the new buds, I would go ahead. These are very big mint leaves. They go a long way, and what's been getting popular on this show is we've been mixing them together with fruit. Delectable. And we have all sorts of brand new growth coming right here too. And this was only a week ago, so I'll have plenty of mint for this week, and by next week a lot of this will be large enough to consume again, and then it'll be about 2 weeks out. So having two of them, if you harvest 1 week before the other, you would be able to have they'll grow at that consistent. You can go bam back and forth in between two of them. Having more than these two mint plants might be a little bit more for one person. I actually have 3 mint plants altogether. This the banana mint here. This banana mint exploded the most with the cutting that we did with it here. It's almost already doubled back in size. Again, very happy. Yeah, this guy I could munch on. Again, this would supplement anything that I couldn't get off of the other mint. 2 different types of mint. And this is where, you know, this is where cooking becomes interesting again. They say that they've done it all, but I think that the chefs try to say that they've done it all, but we're making new foods, or there's more plants to cultivate. The world market changes. Like, still have plenty of fun, plenty of exploration to do in the kitchen. And we only have this one pot really to clean up left still, and it's only the top of the hour, only 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Goodness me, we really rocked the show tonight. I feel like I had some tea or coffee somewhere. Oh my goodness. If Amy and Bobby are here in the chat, I have a second to figure out how your guys' week was going. I'm pretty sure you guys work in the restaurant business, I think, by day. I'm just doing a little tidying is all. And yeah, oh man, though, with this show, I lucked out. I'm feeling, again, very much more myself. And I'm really excited to be coming out of the winter right now. I'm really looking forward to spring. I'm being good. I'm being good about the isolations, or just try not to go out too much. I did do something where I just packed myself a little picnic basket, and I just went exploring up in the hills. I'm pretty lucky. I only have to, I drive for 20 minutes and I can be out in the middle of nowhere because I already am. I am located right next to the side of nowhere. I'm still looking for Courage the Cowardly Dog, though. I haven't seen him around anywhere. And let's see, that chili, it is still going to cook for about 20 minutes. It does have a timer set for 15, but it shouldn't come pressurized. There's a lot in there, so it'll take a minute. And then This one guy here, he did get pretty hot. And this here, if I can show you, that might be a little bit tough for your dishwasher at home to clean completely. So go ahead and just hit it with your scrub brush before you put it in the dishwasher. Again, you're not trying to use a ton of water. Just trying to make your dishwasher's job a little bit easier. We'll go ahead and get our wooden spoons washed off a little bit here. I had that sage pulled out because I was still really interested in trying it. However, I decided against not throwing that sage in with the rest of the ingredients because I was afraid to lose the flavor this time around for it because there's already so much other stuff going on. But we got a good combination of spices in there. I'm sure it's going to be delicious. And also, we have no food waste at home. We managed to be able to combine those ingredients. What we ended up not using is that we had so much other vegetables and such that we didn't need to be so heavy on the tomatoes. We had a red sauce enchilada that we used. Just clicked over, so 15 more minutes to go. We threw in some, and then we threw in a lot of greens too, like green jalapenos, just green vegetables, lettuces, kales, etc. And now this is pretty much a waiting game. I did say I was going to show folks how to make little. What else could we make right now? Oh! You know what I should have made with this chili is I should have gotten some cornbread ready. There's plenty of cornbread I could have made. Just for people looking out there, there is a difference between vegetarian cornbread and regular cornbread. The packaging, the magic is dehydrated lard. So, and you'd think a vegetarian wouldn't notice that, but what I've experienced is that if they do notice it, it's because they haven't had any meat products for a while, and it'll just and it'll almost feel like your stomach's upset, but really is that it's your brain getting this. I believe it's like a protein signal, saying like, oh, you got fat. You literally got fat in your stomach, the lard. And they're like, oh, you digested fat, you're full. You're for sure full. Whatever you just had is definitely going to take a minute to digest. So it kind of throws them off because vegetarians, it's that thing that makes it hard for people to be vegetarians. They'll eat a vegetarian diet, but they don't ever feel full. I'm not exactly sure how they explain that part further, but it's basically the little switch in your brain that goes like, oh yes, I'm full now. Something that I don't know what it's called though, but it's like it's a big step to kind of overcome when you're used to, having a hamburger and all that meat is what makes you feel full. The vegetarian diets are often a lot lighter. So it's about looking for calorie-dense foods still, such as cheeses, nuts. Nuts would be higher protein. Yeah. But yeah. So we got 13 minutes. Super easy. And you're going to have chili. That chili will last you at least 3 days. Now, I do recommend not, when you're making your own chili, when you're putting things together, it's okay, like what we did with the red sauces and stuff, to kind of put that stuff together. What you want to avoid is getting too crazy on the spices. Like since this is a bigger batch of food, you just want to be careful. It's really important not to over salt. what you're cooking. If you're more comfortable, I wasn't meaning to like talk down the chili recipes I was finding online. There's just so many chili recipes, and your beans can be in very different states. They can be dried, they can be canned. It's just how dry they are. You know, it's just two very different states to be in, just very different cooking times, but very little forethought is needed. Just the littlest bit. You just need to know 4 hours ahead that, oh, I'm making chili tonight because I already pulled out the beans. This might actually make it easier for some people to cook dinner when they've already done the first step, because you're just pulling out beans and putting them in water. But you've already made the decision in your head that you know what you're going to be making for dinner tonight. I think for a lot of people that can be a step. It gets in the way. Like they look at all this food in the cupboards and stuff, and they're like, I don't know what I feel like making tonight. You kind of have to get to the step where you're making the food, and then it's all easy. It's like when a lot of people are learning how to start washing the dishes. There's all this hesitation to start washing the dishes or to start your homework. But once you start it, you realize that you might have spent more time procrastinating than you did actually having to do the work. And it's a tricky habit to get in, because when you're procrastinating, every second is kind of like the reward. So you're constantly rewarding yourself while you're procrastinating. It's one of the reasons why it can be a hard habit to break. Cornbread. I wish I made some cornbread, but it's okay. It's better this way, because one of the reasons why I was happy to be able to use the Instapot tonight is because I was too worried about having to, I didn't want to throw it in the oven, because I need to give the oven a little self-clean treatment. It's a little bit smoky ever since some salmon got cooked into it. It happens though. And I'm going to go ahead, just so I have uniform, I'm not going to save this driver. I will. And we're just going to finishing tidying up where we can. And I'm going to have this soup to go. I do need a little bit of a light snack, so I'll show you what we'll do here. So this is very much more something that you can have in the morning here. But for those of you that are having trouble having something in the morning, and say it's too hard for you to make a shake every day, maybe you have a roommate, and turning on a loud blender when you're on opposite sleep schedules, maybe getting your morning shake isn't the way to go. So most of this stuff is either pretty cheap or it goes a long way. The most expensive product that you're going to have is going to be whatever granola that you're purchasing. And then probably the berries. The cheapest thing, I always try to buy my yogurt on sale. Usually you can always get this for $1. And just really simple, throwing this all together. Maybe we'll even throw in a strawberry too. We'll throw in a strawberry too, just for looks. All these nice fruits and veggies. Alright, what we're going to do, just going to throw the yogurt in the bowl. Where is that ceramic that we're working with? Alright, all the yogurt. goes into the bowl here. This makes it pretty easy to clean off. Alright, and then we're gonna we only need one strawberry for this. Find one nice strawberry. We're gonna go ahead and rinse that off very well. We're gonna add just 5 blueberries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 blueberries. Throw that in with the yogurt. And then let's just see, for giggles, what the serving size is. 2/3 of a cup. Add the granola in. And this, if you're really going for looks, just serve it in a clear bowl instead. I'll actually, the clear bowls I have are just a little bit too deep, for my opinion, but I'll kind of show you just how this can really make it look more appetizing. So I don't have too many cookies or things. This is how I really like to get my snacks in. Is just finding vegetables. So people talk about reducing sugar in their diet. However, on that daily sugar intake, the sugars from fruits isn't included in that. They don't actually know how much sugar you can consume from fruits and such. I'm really actually interested if someone were to have like an insane amount of sugar from fruits, what would that do to their body? So I kind of placed the strawberry on the bottom there. Heck, I'll save some of these 2 smaller pieces for some little garnish looking thing on top. And again, this is really nothing. This is nothing fancy at all. This is just a little morning snack to make you, and that's about 400 calories right there. Oh, okay, so the granola by itself is 110. The yogurt by itself is 140. So you're at 250 calories, so it's about 300 calories altogether. Then we'll have our chili come out in just a couple minutes. Now, there's nothing really super amazing about plating chili. I could make it look pretty cool if I had some cornbread on the side. That's just not happening today. It's okay. It's okay. There'll be cornbread on the day. Okay. I got some extra spoons here already. Enjoy that. And yeah, just cleaning up the kitchen a little bit. Not much left going on. Once you chili's almost cooking itself, you could say. That's why I was so excited about being able to do a chili. I get to have no food waste. I'm gonna show like a really good recipe to have in your noggin. So now, let's say the leftover produce that you had was a little bit different. Let's say that it is carrots and zucchini and potatoes. Instead of making a chili, I'd be looking to make a soup. And once again, you'd be able to use the Instapot cooker for that. Now what's interesting is, so you put this all together. Now, the yogurt is probably about always going to be $1. The blueberries about, it was probably like, what are blueberries these days? $4? They're fresh blueberries. Say 50 cents in blueberries. Another $1 in granola, 50 cents, or probably like 20 cents in strawberry. So we're like at $2.80 or so. Now at Starbucks, I looked up the cost of something like this, and they'll charge you about $3.40 plus tax. So, $3.40 plus tax, and you're probably doing it for $5. Maybe you're leaving them a tip, maybe you're not. It's deceptive though, but we used organic. We used prime ingredients. It was $2.80. You might think like, well, it would just be cheaper for me to go get it at the Starbucks. It's it's like that. It's worth not having to make it myself type of deal. But it's so much better quality just making it yourself here. You get way better quality ingredients, and it's still cheaper. Alright, let's see how we did with the chili. I'm going to go ahead and mute the mic again for a second while I go ahead and Man, I'm turning the mic back on. I'm sorry about the extra noise here, but I was just like, gosh, is it taking its time? I feel like it's been decompressing for over a minute. We're almost there. So far. So the big thing is that we just need to give this guy a stir. We'll be all good. Whew. Wow. It's really got a lot to let go. I can't wait to see how well this Instapot cooks the chili though. It's a pressure cooker too, and I'd always been scared of pressure cookers, but this one's been really straightforward to use. I'm not worried about the lid popping off. On some of those older pressure cooker models where it's just like a cast iron and you put it on the stove, ooh, that stuff gives me the heebie-jeebies still. It's one of the only, probably one of the only products I wouldn't want to buy secondhand is a pressure cooker, because I just don't know how it's been treated in the past. And it's finally calming down. Took like a whole 2 minutes to be able to take this lid off. Yeesh. No, still got a ways to go. Alright, finally able to take off the lid here. Let's see how well we did here. So it looks pretty liquidy on top. That's a little concerning. We'll see how well it mixes though. Bring you right front up to the action here. Alright, I'm like, ooh, that's not exactly what I want it to look like. I want it to be a little bit thicker. But then you bring the beans back into the action and everything. Now this is still a little bit more soupish. This could actually go. This could go longer. Let's see how well. It could be thicker. If I needed it to get thicker straight away, I just add in no more than a 1/4 cup of flour. 1/4 cup might be a whole lot. Now I'd let it cook for another 5 minutes or so. Let's go ahead and give this a little plate, see how we did here. Alright, still a little bit more of that soupy consistency here. Again, I'd want it to reduce a little bit longer. I guess I didn't need to go. I guess my call for 2 cups of water was probably a little bit better than 3. Let's see what we got going for a taste though. Now it smells delicious. It ain't gonna be fooling anyone. They'll know that there's green stuff in here, but it's with the onions and all the good stuff, so maybe just maybe they'll take a bite. 3 blows. Nice and spicy. Vegetables go straight down. It's got some nice heat to it. Let's try to get some of this pepper in here. See how well we did with that. Pepper's nice and soft. Has a little bit, the pepper almost brings a little bit of sweetness to it. And that spice kicks right back in. I think the spice combination we did was just right, gives enough heat, stays on the tongue. I like a little stuff that's a little hotter because it lets you respect the food. That means if you just can gorge yourself, you just keep on shoveling your food, add a little bit of spice to your life. It'll make you have to slow down on that food. I mean, if you don't pay with it with your mouth, you're going to be paying for it later. You know, like you think you're going to get away with eating all this spicy stuff, and it doesn't have one more place to go. You're in for a surprise. So, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some of this in my doohickeys. What do you call them? Canisters? What am I looking for? I'm basically trying to put it into my lunchbox. That's what I'm trying to say. And then I'm actually going to leave the rest of this just simmering here on the slow cooker, keeping warm. I'll leave that for sitting out for when I'm work, and it'll be ready for work. Something that I would bring up on the Instapot is that you can let, especially with your marinating some meat or something, your Instapot's not your stovetop. You can let these things just simmer warm all day. You can come home and you can have food already ready for you. This thing is not going to catch on fire. The only way I can think about you setting a fire with an Instapot is if you have an extension cord that's the rattiest extension cord ever. That's the only way I see you getting into trouble. That's the show, folks. That's the show tonight. Very straightforward chili, and the chili came out great. To be able to use all these leftover vegetables and such. It came out a little bit more soupish, but the spices is definitely what put it into the chili department. And again, we can thicken this up. If we were in a pinch and dinner needed to be served right now, we can thicken it up with some arrowroot. We can thicken it up with some flour. Just remember, when you're thickening, you can always add, but you can never remove. So just remember that when you're thickening it. You'll ruin the flavor if you over thicken it and then you have to throw back in some water. Alright, folks, thank you so much for putting your energy into people, into the show. Thank you so much for spending the Friday night. I hope there's a good game on for people to catch, or some anime to catch up on, some good weekend gaming. Everyone have fun, stay safe. We're looking forward to good times coming ahead, and we'll have good times together later. It's always been a pleasure. Now, thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah, I am going to wrap. Usually I would hang out all the way till 8. I am going to go into work, and I know that some supply, I just know that they need my help a little bit sooner than later, so I want to keep them from not sweating. It's great to see you all. If you guys are catching me after the show, there's always new improvements coming to this show. We're going to be I am uploading to YouTube, so the About section of me on Twitch right now is a little under construction. I know I spelled vegetarian wrong. You can check it out and tell me how you like the panels and such. And then still looking forward to hanging out with y'all, video games, movies, all this jazz. We'll have some good times coming up on the streams. Uh, you know, maybe we can figure out a dinner and a show sometime. But in the meantime, we'll just keep on cooking, and we've had no repeats going on so far. It's been a great time. Thank you all so much. I'll see you later.